Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Steve Csobaji from the Dallas office, and I'm coming to you live to present the Tuesday webinar from Quest Trust Company. So we're going to talk a little bit about self-directed IRAs, what they are and how they can help you, and some additional information about Quest, and also how we can help you really learn more, network, and do all the things you need to do to be successful at your investing. So we're going to start by talking a bit about who Quest is and what we do. So we are the largest self-directed IRA custodian in the state of Texas. Now, I get asked the question all the time, you're a Texas-based company, but if I'm not living in Texas, can I work with you? And the answer is emphatically yes. We have a nationwide clientele of over 20,000 people. So our reach is far and wide. Now, currently, we have over $2 billion in assets under administration. And we have about 400 million that's sitting with our investors in the form of cash. That means we have clients who are looking to make deals. And in this environment, it's more important than ever. Our clients and what we do as part of our features here at Quest is offer a lot in the way of networking opportunities. And these opportunities can be done live, in person, and they're also done in a virtual manner. And I'll get into that a little bit later as we go on. But these are ways that clients and non-clients alike can interact with each other and again, work with like-minded individuals. And perhaps this is the best way that you're going to find that next deal that you want to engage in your self-directed IRA. Now, there's one other feature that I think makes Quest really a different company. And it is the fact that of the currently about 100 employees that we have, about a third of them carry a special designation called the Certified IRA Specialist designation. It's something that's awarded by the American Banking Association. And what it represents is that our people have done additional study, passed a pretty serious test, and thereby have gotten credentialed in that they know a little bit more about IRAs as a whole, not just self-directed IRAs, but IRAs as a whole, their utilization, their benefits, tax reporting, all the various details of IRAs. And the people aren't just in, say, our sales team or our marketing team. They are spread across the company. They are in the transactions team. They're in the accounts receivable, accounts payable, billing. So there's that deeper knowledge that runs throughout our company by way of the education that we provide to our employees. The education, it works in both directions. We do a lot of education for our clients, but one of the things here at Quest is we emphasize learning as well within our ranks. Now, before I go any further, I do want to just clarify the purpose of our program today is purely that of education. And at Quest Trust Company, one thing is that we act only as the account administrator, which makes us completely neutral in any and all transactions. We have no conflict of interest with anything we do, but we also do not provide tax, legal, or investment advice. So before you engage in any kind of activity, any type of investment, regardless of what it is, make sure that you are doing your due diligence and make sure, of course, that you consult with a tax, legal, or investment advisor of your own to consult on any potential deals that you are looking at. Okay, so one big question that always comes up is, what's that self-directed IRA? I have an IRA, but now I want a self-directed IRA. What's the difference? And frankly, there's no difference really at all. Basically, you could just cut the term self-directed out of the equation because IRAs are IRAs are IRAs. They are the same no matter where you go. It would be a Roth IRA, it would be a rollover IRA or a SEP IRA. The term self-directed is utilized, however, because the distinction is that with the self-directed IRA, you are in the driver's seat. You are the one picking the investment, and it is a private asset as opposed to something that's publicly available. If you go to Schwab, if you go to Fidelity, you buy what they have. But with the self-directed IRA through Quest, you select the asset. It is a private asset. It is something that perhaps only you have access to and not the general investing public. Now, as I said before, IRAs are pretty much the same. All IRAs really offer the ability for you to diversify, and all IRAs have a lot of opportunities for tax savings. So they are the same in that respect. Now, I think with the self-directed IRA, however, some of these benefits are amplified. And by that, what I mean is with diversification, no matter how diversified you think you are when you're investing in equities, mutual funds, and so forth, you're not really that diversified if you really break it down to a granular level. You know, I can think of a client that I had several years ago who I looked at his portfolio and did that deeper dive. He had Apple stock as one of his investments, but he had a large cap fund, an index fund, and basically a science fund or a technology fund. And guess what the largest holding was in each of them? Right, it was Apple stock. So the reason is that there are only about 3,000 publicly traded securities out there on the various exchanges, but there are about 18,000 types of investments utilizing those companies. So again, it doesn't matter where you go. They pretty much are all the same thing. But with the self-directed IRA, now you have that opportunity again to go into the private asset, the asset that is truly different. And I think we all know as real estate investors that real estate doesn't correlate to what the stock market is doing. And we're seeing that especially at this time, where we're seeing all this volatility in the stock market, but we're still seeing the potential for growth. Now, with that growth, of course, comes the true benefit of those tax advantages. All the growth and the gains remain deferred. And of course, we know in the case of something like a Roth IRA, we have the ability to get it all back tax-free. So again, if I have amplified returns, I have amplified benefit by virtue of those tax savings. So that's where they are very similar. But now here's where I would say a self-directed IRA has some true distinctions. With the self-directed IRA, you get to invest in what you know. Now, that's not to say if you're investing through Fidelity or Schwab, again, it's not something that you're unfamiliar with. But like I said before, here you're investing in that private asset, something that, again, you've done the research on, you've done the homework on. You, better than anyone, have a true idea as to what the potential is for that investment. And thereby also, I would say with all that due diligence you've done, you're probably going to be a lot less surprised by what that outcome ends up being. And here's one more, and this is maybe my favorite of the distinction in self-directed IRAs, is there is what I think of as an element of social investing that you obtain or that you really achieve. Now, a lot of us are familiar with the term social investments, but in the context of what we normally think about it, you know, again, it's companies that are reducing their carbon footprint or something of that nature, which is important. I won't deny that. But I would argue that the self-directed IRA gives you the opportunity to make more of a difference on a localized level than anything else. Just think about it for a second. You're going to flip a property or renovate it for rental purposes. That means you're taking the eyesore of the neighborhood and you're making it one of the best houses on the block. But what else are you doing? What does it take to renovate a house? Well, it takes labor, it takes materials, all of which you're sourcing locally. You are thereby injecting capital and labor resource into the localized economy. Same is true if you're investing in a syndication, because the outcome is the same, and any private lending. You might be lending to somebody who is going to engage in those activities. So regardless of the type of asset that you're using, again, there's an argument to be made, a strong argument, that you are doing a great service to your community while you're enjoying all these other benefits and making money along the way. Isn't that nice to think? I can make money and do good at the same time. Now, what are the investments that I can utilize within that self-directed IRA? Well, here at Quest, as you know, our niche is in the area of real estate. Now, I ask investors all the time, what are you looking to invest in? And again, that's what I get as the answer, real estate. Well, in the parlance here at Quest, real estate can mean a variety of different things. There is physical real estate. There is the option to invest in a rental property, a flip. Maybe you're going to set it up as an Airbnb. You have the ability to do all of those various things. But there's also foreclosures. There are tax liens. There are options. There's wholesaling. There's any and all of those things. So that first column that we put there as real estate in that traditional sense, we think of that as being an active way to manage your self-directed IRA. That means the IRA has taken title of the asset. The IRA owns the asset. You as the IRA owner own it that way, and you as the IRA owner have to engage in some activities with it, like paying the bills. But it is a more active arrangement that you make many of the decisions on. Now, the other way you can do it is through entity investing. Now we're getting into what we think of as more passive investing, because there are many rules that govern self-directed IRAs. One of which is that if you are investing through an entity, you personally cannot manage the entity. Now you can invest in the entity and be a passive investor. And again, this can come in a variety of forms. We often will see multifamily syndications that are done as LLCs. They are done as joint ventures, different types of structures through which you can invest as that passive investor. It's also possible that you could hold assets like the fix and flip or the rental property through, say, an LLC, or it can be owned through a trust. But again, governed by those rules that I alluded to a moment ago. Now, to get some clarification on these rules, I urge you to give us a call. And I'm going to give you some information toward the end where you can contact one of us, the IRA specialists here at Quest. In about a 30-minute conversation, we can walk you through all those details and make sure that you understand. You'll have a very clear understanding of all the things that I'm touching on here at a very high level. Now, the last area, and again, this would fall under passive investing, is the lending. And again, the lending can be a variety of different things. It can be secured, it could be unsecured, it could be convertible notes, all those different types of things. And believe me, I've seen some interesting things. Again, along the lines of the secured notes, doesn't have to be secured by real estate. I've heard of some interesting things that these have been secured by. Things like an automobile, things like dental equipment, My all-time favorite, ammunition. Yep, that's been done. Here in Texas, you can't really be that surprised by it, I guess. So again, you can be very creative. You can use a whole variety of different things under what we would consider to be our niche in real estate. Now, as I mentioned, one of our large focuses here at Quest Trust Company is ongoing education and networking opportunities for our clients. We have webinars like this that we provide a great deal of education every week, sometimes even twice a week. We have what we call our self-directed IRA Saturdays, where we have a featured speaker and we have a variety of different subjects that are covered. We also have kept our virtual happy hour. The virtual happy hour is something we developed during the COVID period of time where we were all in lockdown because we couldn't resume our live events. And it was so popular because it did really get that nationwide reach. And what it lets you do is basically, before a broad audience of individuals, throw out your elevator pitch. Again, are you looking to invest or are you looking for investors? It has that ability for clients and non-clients alike. But what it'll let you do is interact with people who are like-minded and looking for opportunities on either side, be it the lender or be it the person who wants to buy into the syndication, be it somebody who can be a part of your network to make you a successful investor, somebody who can help in a variety of different ways. And if ever you should miss out on something, be it a webinar, be it a other type of opportunity we offer, like the self-directed IRA Saturday, we have all of these various things archived in a variety of different places. Specifically, you can find these things on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. And again, we do a lot of follow-up. I find there are a lot of people who just forget or don't have the time, or there are some topics in these conversations I have with people who have heard about the self-directed IRA, but they have vague ideas as to what they want to do, or there are some specific topics that they need to learn more about. And we can go in there, find a subject that is pretty much dead on. One topic that I hear a lot about too is I don't necessarily have a lot of money to invest. What are the options there? Does that even make a self-directed IRA worthwhile? And again, the answer is absolutely. And we have 2 pretty good webinars right on there right now that go into that very topic. So check it out. Go to that YouTube page. It's under videos. And you can hover over all the various presentations that are on there and see the title and find what is of interest to you. Hey, you might even see me on a couple of those, doing the intro or doing the moderation. So check them out. All right, we are now doing live events again, and we're very, very excited and happy about that. We are back to doing our self-directed IRA social at all of our offices. This has been probably one of the best opportunities that people have had to learn about specific topics and to network. More than that, I think one of the benefits and one of the things I really enjoy is the chance to meet clients or non-clients alike. You can get to know some of the staff, get to know the people who are not only helping you from the front end in terms of learning about self-directed IRAs or helping you get that account set up, but the people who are going to be in the back office doing some of your transactions are helping you with that distribution. You can put a name to the face. Now, they're available, these self-directed IRAs, every month in each of our offices. Houston is going to be the first Tuesday of every month. Austin is going to be the second Tuesday of every month. And us here in Dallas, we are the third Tuesday of every month. So come on in, especially if you're in the Dallas area. My intention is to make these the best socials of all the three. And I think we're well on our way. They run 6:30 to 8:30. And again, it features the ability for some networking, for education, and food and drink provided by us. Now, the one thing we ask you to is make sure you register for the event so we know how many people to expect. But please come check us out when you have the chance. Now, one thing I want to make sure I touch on here as well is the upcoming Quest Expo. If you're not familiar with it, I highly urge you, go to questexpo.com and check it out. This is going to be a 3-day event. It's going to be held in Houston, 23rd through the 25th. It's just around the corner. Now, among the various things that we are going to have is a featured speaker, Emmett Smith. I know many of you know who he is from his years playing for the Dallas Cowboys. But after his career, he has become actually quite successful as an investor himself, specifically in the area of real estate. He's got a lot of fascinating stories talking about how he made that transition and how he has become so personally successful as well. But beyond just that, there are going to be panel discussions. There's going to be a lot of educational resources. And this is going to be from experts around the country. It's going to be covering topics like investments in real estate, not just, again, personal property, but again, syndications, notes, the various types of notes, real estate backed, mortgage backed. Again, the different types of syndications, multifamilies that are out there, and tricks of the trade for utilizing specific property. Beyond that, I think one of the most beneficial features that the Quest Expo is going to offer as well come from the vendors who will be attending. Again, vendors that are going to come from far and wide, but these are people who are really going to help you create your team. These are going to be people who are CPAs, attorneys, contractors. They're going to have information on the logistical things that you may need if you are doing that project, that fix and flip or that renovation. But they can also give you all the guidance that you need with those various issues and topics that come up that are very specific to self-directed IRAs. So again, if you're not familiar, check it out online. And give us a call. Tickets are going fast. I know that the high-end tickets, I believe, have been sold out. But again, general admission is still wide open. And it's going to be something worth seeing. So you can use the QR code that you see on the screen right now and get some information or follow up at your leisure. But we hope to see you there. All right. We're also running a couple of promotions these days. You're looking to open an account, but you're not sure what kind, or there are a couple of types that you may need. Well, we've extended a popular promotion that we were offering. It's called the multiples. The multiple lets you set up the account basically for one account opening fee. Now, why would I have multiple accounts? Well, I can actually get more money into my IRAs that way. You know, I was just at a conference of some dentists this past weekend, and they kept saying to me, well, what's really the benefit? If I can only put in about $6,000 a year, how does that help me? So I've made the point. It's you. You can set up that account and fund it. Your wife can set up that account and fund it. Your children can qualify in order to set up the account and fund it, all within IRAs. But don't forget, there's also Coverdale education savings accounts, which can be set up and funded to the maximum. There are also health savings accounts, which can be set up and funded to the maximum, all under the umbrella of being self-directed here at Quest. When you really look at the swath of what you can do, even on an individual basis or with your family as a whole, there are a lot of places that you can end up putting money in. And that's not even to mention some of the employer plans, where you can set up various types of IRAs where you can put in significantly more than just a personal contribution. So again, I urge you, give us a call. Talk to an IRA specialist. We can walk you through the different types of accounts that are available, and you may find more than one that's going to help and be suitable for you to achieve those goals that you're looking for. Another thing which we're offering right now, which is a nice little bonus, is our double referrals. This is a part of our referral program many of you are familiar with. We typically always give you the ability that if you refer a client and they open the account up, there's a discount to you, or there's a benefit to you, I should say, by a credit that goes to your account, and there's a discount offered to the account opening fee for the new client. And like I said, at the moment, it's double referrals. So it's typically a $25 credit that goes to you and a $25 credit toward that account opening fee. But right now it's $50 on each. So give me a call. Give any of us a call. All these things are available. We always try to find you the best deal possible. But again, we want you to get in on these things and get rewarded and help your friends as well. All right, just to wrap up real quick. Again, we're available for you to reach out, and we'd love to help in any way possible. The QR code that you see accesses the calendar for the IRA specialist team. What it'll let you do is go in, find a time that's convenient for you, and we'll reach out. You just let us know when. 30 minutes should do it, like I say. It'll give us the opportunity to give you the overview, talk to you about the various things you need to know, and see if the self-directed IRA is a good fit for you. Now, there are other ways you can reach us as well. Our chat box is always available during business hours. If you just have a basic question, it's a great place to just get some information quickly. Or again, it's a place where many times people will go in and just say, hey, can somebody give me a call? But again, always available. There's always that old-fashioned way of calling. Our phone number, I kind of like it. 855-FUN-IRAs. Very simple way to remember that toll-free number. And of course, you can email us too. IRA specialists at Quest Trust. 2 T's. I always get that question. But again, a great way to reach out to us, any of these. And again, we hope to hear from you in the very near future. We're always here to help. And again, right now, you're getting a very high-level overview of the self-directed IRA and what we offer at Quest. There's a lot more that goes into it. So if this is of interest to you, get in touch with us and let's do that deeper dive and let's see how we can help you. All right. So in terms of formal presentation, that's really all I have. Now, I have with me today moderating this program, as I've seen that there are a lot of questions that are coming in. I have my buddy, Brianna Clayton, who works out of our Houston office, another one of our great IRA specialists. If you've ever talked to Brianna, you know she really is well-versed on a variety of different things. She came over from one of our internal teams and has been doing a great job. So I'm going to ask her, Brianna, anything out there? Any questions? I've, again, seen a lot of things coming in. What do we have in the way of questions? I'm not sure if she's there. Well, in light of that, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can answer a few of these questions that I see. We'll take it for a few minutes. Oh, okay. Got something posted. Let's see. As a private lender, do I need to have a Quest account in order to work with a Quest investor? So the answer there is actually no. Well, if you are going to be the one issuing the loan through your IRA, of course you will need the Quest account, but it doesn't have to be a Quest investor who you're working with. The thing you got to just bear in mind is that it also can't be a disqualified person. And a disqualified person is something we can go into in a lot more detail with a consultation. But it basically is you, spouse, ascendants, descendants, and their spouses, and any kind of entity that any of them would own, control, operate, or be highly compensated by. Some of that's very technical language. But again, we can make it make sense and see what opportunities are out there for you. Thank you. Thank you for that question. One of my favorites. Can I combine personal funds and self-directed IRAs? The answer is yes, you can. That is one way you can partner with yourself. And it doesn't have to just be on a property. It can also be by way of an entity or anything, really. Now, the important thing that you need to know is that if you are partnering in any form with anyone, one part of it can't benefit the other more so than the proportions. So if 60% is coming from the IRA, let's say, and 40% is coming out of pocket, that's how expenses are going to have to be divided. That's how income or profit is going to have to be divided. So while you can do it, again, it's just important to know there's some rules that govern it. And again, we want to make sure that those rules are very clear. The LLC. You can, of course, set up an LLC and fund it with your self-directed IRA. And you can have other people come in to the entity as well. The one thing is that, remember, anybody who's involved with the self-directed IRA just can't manage the LLC. So you have to truly be a passive investor, meaning that there's going to be a different LLC manager who's running the show, basically. Now, I mentioned that it's family in that ascending, descending relationship that cannot be a manager. They are the disqualified person. However, it can be a side-to-side relationship, a brother, a sister, a cousin, an uncle. So it doesn't necessarily exclude family and people that you know and trust. It just takes away certain people in that overall family. Thank you. Saw a few more interesting questions that are on there. The fee schedule. Fee schedule is a topic I know that as IRA specialists, we always make sure that we discuss with any potential clients. I insist on it. If it's not brought up, I bring it up. Now, the fee schedule consists really of the service fees that go along with a Quest account. And they fall into two primary buckets. They fall into the transactional side and the administrative side. So on the transactional side, again, if this is a new account, there is the account opening fee that I mentioned, which is typically $100. But again, through referral program, through other incentives, there are ways that that can be worked down. Now, there's a basic transaction fee as well, just a flat $125. That is incorporating everything related to the transaction. That would be document review, that would be titling the asset, that would be funding the investment. And that is done in a 24 to 48 hour time frame. So we make sure that things are done accurately and quickly, but it's all incorporated for that simple fee of $125. Now, the other thing really to just be aware of related to a transaction is going to be the funding. And so it just comes down to how is money being distributed for the investment. Now, if it has to be done by a wire, there is going to be a $30 fee associated with that from the bank. But ACH offers no fee. So again, just comes down to how it's going to be done. Now that's on the transaction bucket. Now in the administrative bucket, there are two primary choices that you select from. There are three choices, but I find it usually comes down to option one or option two. Option one is done purely on a per asset basis. It does not look at value of the assets. It's just how many do you have? It's a flat $350 per year. So very simply, one asset, $350, two assets, $700. Now the second option does look at total account value, meaning what the assets are worth plus any cash that may be held in the account. Now it's a quarterly fee structure. So it is possible based on activity in the account that it could be higher from one quarter to the next. But basically, if we want to compare an apple to an apple inside of the fee schedule, if we know we're going to be holding the asset for a specific period of time, then what we want to do is take the quarterly fee, multiply it by 4 so I can annualize it, and then basically just see which one's cheaper. So let me give you an example. Let's say I'm making an investment and it's going to be $100,000. I'm going to put it into one syndication deal. Under option one, because it's one asset, I pay $350. Now, if I look at the fee schedule under option two, and I look at where 100,000 falls on that scale, and I multiply it by 4, it ends up being about $630 a year. So in that case, clearly option one is my better choice. Now let me change the scenario just slightly. Let's say that it's two assets that I have, still worth $100,000. Now under option one, I'm paying that $350 twice, so it's $700. Now in this scenario, again, same value, but option two becomes the lower value, the lower overall annual cost. So that's the option I would want to select. And again, this is part of the conversation. This is part of what we're here to help you with. Kind of work through that and navigate it and see which one is the better option. And of course, the fee schedule is also flexible. So if you start with one, you can switch over to the other if it should come to pass that it is the better value for you. Now, the last option on the fee schedule, which I'll just briefly mention, is what we call our Gold Family Plan. That incorporates a number of different assets that you can put together, or a number of different accounts, I should say, typically with higher dollar values and more transactions. But everything is incorporated under a flat $3,000 fee. And again, I've seen many clients where that does end up being the better option for them, coming off of option 1 or option 2. So again, it all comes down to what your needs are. Thank you for that. How are we doing? Invest with my Robinhood account. So I guess it depends what you are investing in through the Robinhood account. Now, I'm not an expert on it, but my understanding is that through Robinhood, you are dealing in publicly traded securities for the most part. And so if that is the case, then the self-directed IRA wouldn't be something that you can utilize. Robinhood is also a separate company. So I don't know if you would actually invest through your self-directed IRA to invest in Robinhood per se. But again, it would just come down to the type of assets that you're looking to invest in, if that's the question. Again, if I'm not answering that question, please feel free to contact us one way or another and we can clarify. All right. I'll be most likely selling a property around the first of the year. Don't have a self-directed IRA. Can I set one up and put the profits in it all at once? So if by that, what you mean is that you own the asset personally and you're going to be selling it and there's going to be a gain, a significant gain, and you can put it into, and can you put it into a self-directed IRA? And I'm afraid there the answer is no. Self-directed IRA can only be funded a couple of different ways. It can only be funded by an IRA transfer, a direct rollover of a qualified retirement plan, or contribution. And the contribution amount, remember, is about $6,000 a year, $7,000 from over 50. And again, there are those specialty plans like a SEP or a Simple where you can do more, but again, that's going to be contribution done by way of your business. So based on the question, I'd have to assume that we're talking about after-tax money. And again, I'm afraid that you can't just plunk that into a self-directed IRA or an IRA of any type for that matter. Sorry. How we doing? Doing very well on time. Do we have any further questions? These have been very good. Looks like I don't see anything else coming across the wire here. So I would assume we are probably done with the questions. We'll give it another minute. Let me just kind of look through the chat box. Looks like we're pretty clear. Now, Brianna has been kind enough to put my contact information in the chat. So if you would like to reach out to me directly, I'd certainly like to have a further conversation with you or any of us again. So let me just put up one more time. I'm going to share my screen. There we go. There's that QR code, our phone number, our email for the general IRA specialists, and the Quest Trust Company website. And don't forget, we have our YouTube channel. We have our Facebook page with a variety of other information, as well as those archives I mentioned. So again, I hope you'll check it out. And again, I hope this was helpful. And please let us know if there's anything else that we can do to be of service for you from Quest Trust Company. All right. Looks like we are going to end a little early. So I'm going to grant you guys the gift of time. I want to thank you all for attending today. And special thanks to my buddy Brianna for doing a great job in moderating, and big shout out to Victor Sanchez, who is always behind us with our tech support. And again, we couldn't do this without him. All right. So thank you very much. And again, from Dallas, from the Dallas office, I'm Steve Csobaji. Hope we'll see you soon here in Dallas or in one of our other offices at an event, or perhaps at Quest Expo. Again, reach out if there's anything we can do. Thank you very much.